All right, it's time to review the week. This is loud enough. Oops. Check, 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 check. All right, whatever, that's good enough. Okay. Um, so I missed a lot last week, so this review is going to be really good. Um, so let's start with what we were even expecting last week. So as for the indices, let's show you the right screen real quick. We had NFP, was that last week? Let's look at this. Nope, that was last week. Okay. Whoa, I didn't have a plan last week? What the heck? No wonder. I think I just wasn't gonna trade. I knew it, and I knew that. But yeah, the only thing we had down was Russell relative equal highs. So hard time frame relative equal highs aligned with the monthly PD array. What? Oh, we're just talking about this old. Okay, yeah. So that was just my higher time frame analysis. Was like, okay, probably gonna go higher. Um, but let's just look at the chart. We finally got a market structure shift to the upside. Finally, it was tough to trust any of this, but we finally got one here. So now I am confirmed bullish, just because I've been playing extra cautious. Wasn't sure about this whole range here, even though we were getting things on the other indices. Anyways, yeah. So last week, here's Monday. We had just come down sharply on Friday. We created a bullish weekly reversal where we come down initially to create a wick on the weekly. So you can see that there. And then finally getting a move into the end of the week. So it was a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday sort of reversal up close candle. And you can kind of get some fibs on there. I mean, obviously we expanded pretty high, but get that little bit of a reversal, full-bodied up candle. I knew, oh, I don't know where the analysis was, but I was expecting this week to go up. Maybe I just didn't write it down. But yeah, I was expecting Monday to completely rebalance NASDAQ. Must have not saved it or something. Maybe it's on this DRC. Yeah, here it is. Turn this off. So we were expecting this candle here from Friday to be completely rebalanced. So if you look on ES, that's exactly what happened. Messed that up. Should have been able to trade that. Really messed it up there. Weekly candle, kind of crazy. There was barely any wick. Wasn't expecting that. I was expecting us to like at least fill in that a little bit more. So as a missed op, let's check it out and see what we could have seen. The flow was right into the close, and we were diverging like crazy. So I could have just bought either right at the open into the new week opening gap as just a swing trade type entry, maybe risking here logically like okay, by the open, risk the and but risk reward wasn't there. So let's just zoom in and see if we could have had something here. we knew this would come higher. So the only op was probably here to this fair value gap order block, since we had confirmed finally on at least a smaller time frame. 15 minutes, we confirmed above these relative equal highs, gapped up. So not really my type of trade. I mean, if we look at, so maybe it's not a missed op, because if we look here on ES, was there a SMT to give us the confidence? Not really. You know, we did come. Okay, here is an SMT. So yeah, that's where I could have took a stab long. We got relative equal lows here. We got the order block in an order block with a little bit of a displacement there. So if I was very diligent, theoretically, could have, you know, that would have been a great trade there. Probably just targeting here. So there's a little 4-hour trade. We had an SMT with NASDAQ being weaker. But at the same time, there just wasn't much to really go off of. So that would have been like a not a high confidence trade. So if we look here, maybe there's an SMT into Dow Jones. No. So I don't feel too bad about missing that. Only reason I feel like I could have really captured that is if I like knew for sure that this would be bottom. And how could I have been confident in that? What is going on here? I got lost. So, well, here's the thing. We did dip into the order block here on NASDAQ. So NASDAQ had hit the bounce area for sure. This is the only one that really did. ES did not. So I guess there's an SMT there, but with NASDAQ being stronger and me knowing that the candle would rebalance, I could have. It's just hard. There were no other signals other than that pullback SMT. And here though. Oh, I did not see that. So yeah, with the oh man, I just keep getting lost in here. So here's the bit bounce candle. So YM did give us the SMT. There we go. There we freaking go. So there's the SMT. It was with YM. Looks like things are back to how they were a year ago, where YM gives us really clean SMTs for the other indices. So yeah, YM, boom, lower low, higher low, into relative equal lows on NASDAQ. So that trade would have been Wednesday. As for here, not much. So not much of a missed trade there, but there was a trade here on ES, I would say. We got a sweep on and a SMT here on ES with NASDAQ. So that was a big trade. Really missed that one. Came back down into the order block. Could have traded NASDAQ as well, just because it is the one that set up the trade. So let's just take a look at NASDAQ, see what we missed. That one is an easy that one was an easy trade. There were signals for that, and that happened here. So this is the trade playbook trade here, relative equal lows, SMT into that area. We look at the 5-minute, down into this order block. I would have used probably the body here. So could have used that as my risk, and just bought there, using that as a stop. We'll just say we bought the low of this candle there, this candle here, because that's what I would have logically would have been my idea. And there you have it. Nice, huge target. Would have been that as my first partial, either there or there. But yeah, could have easily taken that up to their first swing trade. So there's the trade that I like to take. Missed that. That's a missed opportunity. So there was one major opportunity this week, and it was this. We do have a nice little balanced price range here now, though, which we could come back to, refer back to eventually. We'll see though. But yeah, this is the order block into relative equal lows. You can trust this because look how that's a very clean order block. It took out prior high and then took out the prior low, which clearly makes this an order block. Buying the CE of this would have worked for a swing trade the entire time. Obviously, the SMT didn't happen into here really. Let's zoom in and check it out. That was a 15-minute thing. So here's NASDAQ again. Here's the whole area. Referring back to this order block, we want to see ES be weaker as a manipulation. So same thing with ES. Could have used this as the order block. Bought them the CE of that as it came down, or even the high, honestly. Oops. So there was a clear trade there, missed that. That was the opportunity of the week. Easy target right here, first partial. Kind of interesting how there's strength. We need a different. Let's use this one. Too hard to read that on those small boxes. Yeah, NASDAQ comes down for that move. Oops. And both get a very big move. So trying to select the strongest and the weakest pair. Didn't really help too much here. Would have had basically the same move in both. Would have had a very defined risk in NASDAQ. So with ES being the manipulation, buying NASDAQ actually would have made more sense. But this was definitely the trade. Definitely defined, very clear, relative equal lows, order block, manipulation news candle, up into the highs. So first major target would have actually been up into there. So that would have been pretty massive. Because I think it was like 8R already up into here. Just to, oops. Find that low break. Low. And then targeting our time frame. Oh, so no, that was 8R. Yeah, could have held a run or two. So that was the trade of the week. Not much else other than that, I would say. At least on NASDAQ and ES. There was a bit of a dip here. Could have bought that. Did we get SMT though? We want to see. So yeah, we broke out, came back down, failed. If I zoomed out, I would have noticed that this was a failure, and maybe we could have got long on the next candle, or at least on the next candle after that, and risked a smaller time frame area. SMT looks like everything basically put the low in right there. Light SMT with YM, but not significant for me to be confident. And we had displaced here on the 4 hour too. So yeah, buying that and then buying the yeah, a little bit of a smaller time frame trade. If we look at this, we got relative equal lows into here, roughly. Right down into back down to the order block. And then we did make a little bit of we did create a shift here, took out liquidity, came back down, took out the lows into the wick. So yeah, that would have been another easy buy right into these lows, possibly risking this order block. Just because I think I would have expected this to maybe take out this low here. So I think I could have tagged in here. We need to, let's just, we check up on here on 5 minutes. This is, because NASDAQ took out, NASDAQ took the high here, takes the high, yes, is weak. We come back down, there's the SMT there, but not my preference. So we made a new low here, didn't take the high. That was bearish SMT. ES weaker. ES weaker. And still held this low. Yeah. Tough. This is a harder one to get into. NASDAQ here took all the highs. So we had pretty interesting thing happening. So, and then we did have this dip again. Dip again back into this. So yeah, just kind of a interesting thing here. So yeah, as this came lower, knowing that ES had not taken this high, that's showing either, yeah, I mean, that doesn't make sense. So to be bearish, because that's, if I was to be bearish, it would have made more sense for ES to take the high. And then, but then because we had this SMT here, that could have been the confidence to get in long either here, which probably wouldn't have done. So this would have been the buy, or, buying ES, because that's a little bit more defined. We got a very clear order block there, relative equal lows. That got swept on that little wick at the 11 a.m. So there was a possible buy after that, as NASDAQ took that. So we did get a shift here. We got a shift here too. So even just any of these could have been buys. We got a shift here. Who cares if it came lower? We could have been risking one of these order blocks, depending on if you look at the smaller time frame. Yeah. Order block, come up above, up around. We did displace above this. This is a balanced price range. And this all happened after the open. And I don't know though. I don't think I would have traded this just because of the time frame. I don't think I would have gone long right before lunch. So the only thing I can see is, possibly this area just being accumulated. So then we got a confirmed little SMT there. So if anything, I would have bought here and maybe taken a partial. Okay, yeah. So I think I actually would have gone out and then missed it. So it would have been a small trade, but a trade nonetheless, especially as we failed here. Above this high, above this high, then we took this one out on NASDAQ. But this was already taken here. We had something weird happening. We come lower, lower, takes those out, then we get S&T. I wouldn't consider that as a big missed opportunity. That one's just not as clear as I would like. Though there was SMT everywhere though, like on YM. I don't really want to get long into lunch. If anything, I would have just not taken it. I just would have not taken it. I think that's the answer there. Cool. Well, but yeah, if we did take that somehow, just because even though there wasn't SMT, and I was very confident in that, and then yeah, just probably wouldn't have taken that trade, to be honest. And there was a trade. There were some shorts into here. Very hard to read. Where was it? Here. So there were some shorts here. And then once we got this dip below here on NASDAQ, any of these dips, that was a manipulation with ES holding stronger, which is still a SMT for the long side. But then we were getting higher highs, but nothing clear being swept. I mean, this got swept, swept, swept. Yeah. And then we did get here's where we did get a setup, but it happened during lunch. So also not my type of setup. But yeah, kind of a good week to miss. I mean, besides the big trade, that was the obvious trade. That was the good trade, and everything else has been unclear. So I'm reading this pretty well, I think, and I did miss that big trade because I was taking some time away. So that was a very easy money big trade, and it's worth it to be at the charts all week just to capture that, especially as you start to trade with when with size. So flow reads were pretty good this week. Like into these little choppy sell-offs. I read those really well, and I actually was creating a small account on that, just messing around with crazy size, make it worth it. But yeah, that was just me more practicing than anything, just playing the rotations, and it happened to be wrong on my full targets. But if I was trading it on a real account, would have been pretty good. Though probably wouldn't have actually done it on a real account because that's not my bread and butter. So it was good practice. So yeah, looking at the week in review, let's check that out. It's yeah, wanted was candle would be balanced, and that was spot on. Later, a playbook setup occurred, but it was a missed op. That was a missed op. I'll have to detail that in a write-up. So I'll do a write-up on that. Do a write-up to my playbook. That was a great trade that I missed. NFP was last week, I think. I can't remember. Most days were pretty unclear, besides the long outlined. Otherwise, the SMTs were tricky, although the flow did help confirm some of them. So getting long with smaller size would have been the right thing to do. So yeah, what I'm talking about is the shorts into here, and then using the flow to give me that confidence to get long into here probably would have actually fixed that issue. So if we could take a look at the flow on Thursday at lunch. Probably can't see because I had the screen over it. Sorry. Thursday flow at lunch. So let's look at here. SPY on Thursday. So Thursday, this is Friday, so Thursday we had at lunch, we had puts, what? Is this prior to lunch? This was right into lunch, right before lunch. So we had SPY net. Man, I wish I could align this with, oh crap. Where? This out of the way. Thursday. Oh, but this is my time. This is the problem. So this is going to be at 10. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Puts rising. I'm not gonna long that. But with no volume. Whereas the tide, look at the tide. So tide right before lunch into the dip. We had a nice cross here. calls were flat. And then right into lunch was where we had that divergence or the cross. And don't know if I would have been confident in that either. But we got 2 days just to figure. So yeah, into 10 a.m. Calls coming down, puts rising, very low volumes, only 10 million, a little bit more than 10 million, negative 30 in calls. Dream holding doesn't go back, doesn't go back. But yeah. Oops. Let's look at 3 days though, because what if the day before signal is long? Nope. Yeah, no, that was tricky there. I mean, into lunch, we'd already been. We saw this back into there, then yeah, I mean, yeah, that would have been more obvious. But it looks like, yeah, that's tricky. So flow probably wouldn't have helped, and I would have just missed that. Okay, good to look at that though. So the thing was, I was actually looking short, so I actually wasn't even looking for a long here. We had this relative equal high sweep on ES. Um, with a little bit of a bearish SMT where ES fails. So trading short NASDAQ into this would have also worked, which is actually what I was doing. I was shorting all this when I was in my tiny account, practice account, aggressive account. So yeah, the shorts would have worked actually. That was the only obvious play. So that would have worked. Shorts would have worked. Playing with smaller size would have been actually the thing to do there too. So we did get a short setup and it did play out, and yeah, could have played that on ES or on ES. Yeah, just adding in, risking the wick here. That would have been a pretty decent trade down into here as NASDAQ broke, would have just gone out. And then we had an SMT. Oh, there we go. There's an SMT here. Right into, yes, there's the real confirmation I would have looked for to get long. Go right into lunch. ES confirms SMT longs. And where the tide is, kissing as that happens. I think that would have been enough actually. So paying attention here into the we got long NASDAQ and then just took easy, like that was a smaller time frame trade, so I would have taken it off early. So, but then again, there was an SMT there too. So playing both sides, double long, double time frame SMT, you get long and you target the top of the range. So if I traded that, which right as lunch starts is a possible trade, and that would have been actually pretty huge because of the range. So there was the long trade, though we would have had to somehow trade against. The puts had already risen, and we had already gotten a move down. Puts had already risen, calls had already dumped, and we were getting bullish SMT. So as we're chopping into this range and puts are rising, and we're already coming down, to me that means they're taking profit on puts, and they're taking profit on their sold or their well, they're selling their calls. They've sold all their calls. What? Yeah, that's just a tricky one. That's just a tricky one. But it was confirmed at least on SMT. Double confirmed. So would have justified a smaller size trade and it would have worked great. So that's my analysis there. As for everything else, there's 2 missed ops. Missed ops. I would say 2. 1 great, 1 good trade, and 1 low, small size good trade. One thing I could do is just get back on top of things. We've been taking a break lately because of the up and down nature of my P&L. We had really good months and followed by break-even months. So it also big changes in my routines in my personal life. Back into the program. Let's call that that. How's my sleep? Decent. Nope. Got to do that today. Things done well. Flow reading was spot on and good. Learning ops when we were selling the highs on bearish flows and how we bounced after getting that was that created. So yeah. I don't know what just happened. So yeah. So yeah, 2 missed ops, 1 small size trade, 1 great trade, a hard read on the opening of the week. Not much else other than that. Oh, Russell. We haven't even looked at that. Russell. So here's Friday. Russell with a massive SMT there too, taking out the low here. Bouncing off the order block candle body. And we did get a displacement confirming we're bullish. So longing, what day was that? Into Thursday would have made sense. So a Thursday long, it already had an SMT. We displaced. Let's look at this for reference. Whatever. Yeah, we got that daily displacement on. Oh, the displacement was Thursday. So Friday would have been when I should have looked for a long. So yeah, here's Thursday. We closed out at the highs. Into the PM session, there was a buy. So yeah, there was an opportunity here too. This one's very obvious. Very, very obvious. So I missed out on that too. Into Friday. So yeah, here's London on Friday. Thursday PM session. Did provide an opportunity there. We had a displacement leg and dip down into balanced price range. Let's look at that. Right down into unclear. I would have liked to see this order block body hit, maybe on a smaller time frame. No, still didn't hit. But using the yeah, I don't know about that actually. Didn't actually hit where I would have wanted to buy. I would have wanted to buy it right at the top of this at the minimum. So that didn't give it to us. Maybe YM did. Oops. So YM did give it to us. And was YM already displaced? Friday. Yeah, but it wasn't confirmed yet either. On the smaller time frame it would have been. So here's that same move here. We did get this market structure shift here. And then we had a move down back into the relative equal high. So yeah, I wouldn't call it a trade I'd take either. So cool. Anyways, there it is. That's the review. Anything else on the recap? Blunder's just missing out on that. Missing SMT long. What have I learned? Keep an eye on the flow for profit taking when flow moves aggressively. Against my thesis. So yeah, decent week. Not a ton of opportunities for what I look for. I mean, this one was on YM was there, but that's just a hard one, I think, because unless there was some sort of SMT, and that's into the PM session. So a lot of times I'm not even there. The only thing I can think is if the no, yeah. There was something here. There's nothing really there to really feel really confident. So yeah, not my cup of tea. We did get a there was this move here. This was a opportunity order block purchase. So SMT and the other NASDAQ. And Yeah, there's an SMT here in YM after Russell had displaced here. So there was another one here too. Let's investigate. And this was into the news. So that makes a lot of sense. This is a playbook. So order block here, that's what I would have wanted to buy. Um, and then we created an SMT with YM. So YM had an SMT here where it made a lower low, and we had a low here being taken out into the order block. So buying this wick down into the same area would have been pretty good. There's no reason for me to not take that, and we'd have to see the flow. Flow was on before the market opened. But was it bullish? Man. So flow. What day was that? I already forgot. This was morning of Friday morning. So we'd be looking for Thursday. End of day on Thursday. So yeah, I mean we had all those. But yeah, Thursday. No, I would not have taken that. So obviously that's SPY, but RTY. Oops. IWM. Thursday IWM puts rocketed for the close. So yeah, flow was against me here, but the price action did deliver what I would have been looking for. So I mean that's a little fractal setup that I always look for. So if I would to take that, would have been small size too. So yeah, all right. Looks like there were a decent amount of trades, 3 solid trades. Hard to read, but one right here too, maybe on Russell as it was breaking out. Um, yeah, right here, this dip, we'd already had quite the move. Um, so yeah, this was when Russell was ripping while I was shorting the other ones. So that's just a hard one. I can't really decide if I would have taken that or not. And I don't, if I did, I don't think I should have taken it unless it was really small size. So not gonna really take super big notes of that. I'm looking for really clean, easy trades that I can easily see. That's a hard one to really take apart, which eventually might be very good later, but not yet. So yeah, that's it. That is it. That is the review of the week. Other than that, the only thing to really look at is the weekly charts. We've already rebalanced last week's big move down. So yeah, longs are the bias. Everything's looking bullish. To get long, I'm gonna look for down before get up.